Peace to the family. It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Did a little different thing on the website, so be sure to check out that. Little John just woke up, so me and John on the mic doing it one time for the solar eclipse, which is taking place December 26, 2019. Hope everybody is doing well. Just been a little hectic in my household dealing with this solar eclipse energy, preparing for this solar eclipse energy. But knowing what it is, I think is the main big deal. Knowing exactly what's taking place, what's happening, all of that. And that's what we'll discuss in this actual conversation. So hopefully I can get your patience and we can kind of go through these things and kind of look at these things in real time, in real terms, and then understand it in a practical way. Leave this video with some practical and normal things with this cosmic energy and this cosmic understanding. So probably as soon as I clicked live, John started crying, so I ran upstairs to go grab him. So we went and searched around the house, where is everybody at? Don't nobody love me. But I'm not gonna do a lot of moving on this page because I notice when I move around, it gets a little crazy. So what we're looking at though is the alignment for the solar eclipse. And if we look really, really close, you can see the SGR here, SGR there. The constellation which this new moon will be taking place will be in the constellation of Sagittarius. We got the December 25th, 26th, 2019. It's really, really going down. And so I wanted to show you guys all of this amalgamation or this cluster of planets in the constellation of Sagittarius, because you have Mercury, you have the Sun, Moon, Jupiter, and then if you look a little bit over, you have Saturn and Pluto, and then a little bit more further, you have Venus. So very close together. Damn near most of the planets are located in one area. So all of this energy is now concentrated, and so we can really look and see what it's talking about. And so maybe if you don't want to deal with and I'm sorry if it delays, they don't really like that website, but sorry about that, but we back up. So if you really wanted to take a look at this from a 2D perspective, we also have the 2D map, the sidereal map, and you could just see all of these planets, all of this energy in the second and third house, all in Sagittarius. And it's if you don't really understand what Sagittarius represents, then we just won't know. So peace to the family. I just want to make sure everything is copacetic, kind of without my eyes. My wife's not available, so I'm gonna just pray that everything is going right. Keep my fingers crossed. Oh yeah, so everybody's on there, everybody's saying peace. So peace to the family. Just kind of getting set up, showing everybody these planetary alignments. As you can see, all of these planets are located in one particular area. So when you reference Virgo, Leo, Cancer, Gemini, for the most part, Taurus, there aren't any major planetary influences. All of the energy is centered in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. So when you reference a fire sign in esoteric astrology, you're talking about one specific thing. You're talking about the energy of Kundalini. And so when you reference the energy of Kundalini, people don't understand why Kundalini is needed, or even what's happening. Because the arrow, if you really look at it, what it symbolizes is the spinal column, and the distance and the fire moving upward represents that Shakti energy. It's called Shakti energy when it's dormant, but when it rises up through our, through our spinal cord, is no longer called Shakti, is now called Kali Ma, and Kali Ma is a destroyer. So the destruction that's necessary is the ignorance and the way of life. So before we get into the astrology, we have to get into some nitty gritty Americanitis, living in America and what it's all about, okay? And it starts here with neurasthenia. A lot of people don't know what neurasthenia is, but a lot of people suffer under it. Neurasthenia and the culture of nervous exhaustion, okay? In the 1880s, U.S. physicians developed a diagnostic profile for a condition afflicting the leading families of the United States. So this was for the elites and the high well-to-do families. The best educated, most cultured Americans were suffering from a new, distinctly American condition that destroyed their health. And this condition caused migraines, poor digestion, fatigue, depression, and mental collapse in alarming numbers. And they suffered from neurasthenia or nervous exhaustion. And so, quite simply, neurasthenia is when you don't do anything spiritual. You don't raise your Kundalini at all. You're so engaged with the physical world. You work, you go to sleep, you watch TV, you just engage in the physical, and that's all that you have. If you don't have any psychological, spiritual outlet, then your central nervous system begins to become exhausted. So the reason for Kundalini raising, the reason for working through your chakras is quite simply because you're going to wear yourself thin just doing this 9-to-5 rat race type of deal. Not only are you not making enough money, but you tired all the time. You depressed all the time. You hate your job. You hate waking up and doing all of these kinds of things. And so this has really dire effects on our spiritual life. And there's a reason why you don't know about neurasthenia, because it's way more profitable for you to go to work every day, right? And not get help for this issue. And one of the main ways to help this issue is through raising a Kundalini. And that's just one part of it, but that's definitely a part of this understanding, because overworking, working 50-60 hours is not a badge of honor, and once everything is depleted, once all of your central nervous system energy is depleted, you have nothing else to rely on. When it comes to walking, talking, speaking, moving, it all relies on your central nervous system, thinking, your mood, and all of these things that we discussed in the new moon video. We are leading into more understandings of the human body. So in the new moon video, we discussed, John, there's nobody upstairs, so you stuck with me, brother. So there is no, I done threw me off a little bit. I wish I could have like a little recorder rewind what I just said, but ultimately you could feel like it's good to work and to get all of these hours and to be a hard worker and things of that nature, but your physical health suffers. Of course that suffers, but what about your psychological health? If you're not mindful about your psychological health, and within the community, there is no real psychological tool. And that's why Kundalini is so important and so powerful, because I do have the link sheet in the description. So if you want to read this abstract that I'm about to pull up, well, it's a full 18-page article, but I'm going to just read the little abstract to give people an idea of where we're headed with this conversation. Get the people some screen love, John, so they can see. Kundalini, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'm going to start right here and go right here. So I'm going to read this part. Kundalini, now I'm gonna read it for the people that's driving on the go, ain't got time to be reading the screen or whatnot. Kundalini is a serpent goddess coiled around the base chakra, and this form of Shakti is the great goddess Kali Ma. Through various techniques, the goddess is awoken from her dormant state and carried up through the various chakras to be united with her divine consort Shiva, leading the practitioner into excelled and ecstatic supreme states of consciousness and heightened states of awareness. Now, this supreme states of consciousness and heightened states of awareness might throw you off, but it's really like having a good ass day, you know, enjoying the blissfulness of your relationship. And if you working and you're down and you're grinding and you can't, you know, meditate and do this stuff, you missing out on this energy right now. You missing out on the power of meditation, the power of just sleeping. You know, you want to be fortunate enough to just say, you know what, I'm gonna take a nap, you know, and maybe you too busy to take a nap and you know you're tired. That's no amount of money is gonna relieve that strain. The only thing that's gonna help relieve that is by utilizing the potent energy that's taking place for this solar eclipse. So if you're not resting, if you're not relaxing, if you're trying to live up to people's statuses or things of that nature, then you're missing out on this energy. You're missing out on the internal esoteric energy that's happening within your body. So there's a lot of things that are happening within your body that if you're focused on the external world, you're just missing out. And if you're focusing on the external world, then you're feeling like, damn, what is it I'm missing? Because everything's happening in front of me. And I think I know what I'm doing because my mama and daddy did it. But now that I'm doing the same shit that my mama, daddy, grandma, auntie, uncle's doing, it's not working for me. I'm not in that right vibe. And it's a real difference between you and your mama, daddy, uncle. The difference between you is that you have this awareness of who you are internally, and we're not brought up or fixated on the external. There's something more to this spiritual life, which brings us to the Sabian symbol. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, okay. They up there with their mom. I thought they were just up there going crazy. But yeah, it's live. You know how we get down on the Hood Mystic podcast. You never know what could happen. But yeah, so Sagittarius at the 9-degree mark, which this new moon is taking place, is really talking about how, I'm not going to read this whole thing. I have it in a link sheet for you if you decide to read it, but I'll paraphrase, where we have this normal, natural way of life that we're not really in tune to, because normal, natural is a result of intuition. Now, the light that we're brought up in is the light of osmosis, where we look at our mom, dad, uncle, aunts, cousins, brother, sister, friends, family, their brothers, we just look at people and see, oh, he's doing it like that. I want to do it like that too. Let me emulate that and get that same result. Okay, but that's not very natural, because intuitively, outside of what you see other people doing, like you could see a person doing some shit and it looks appealing, then you try to do it and it just looks crazy, so intuitively, the conversation that the young kids say is being in your bag. When you're in your bag, that's being within and doing what you naturally and normally want to do. And this is it's a hard space to be for a new moon, because you don't know, you're not really hip to, you think you're doing the right thing because you're doing everything that everybody else has done before you, and you're following examples and things of that nature. But Sagittarius and a new moon going into 2020, like it would take you to get out of that space, to really focus in on where you're trying to go with your personal life, and then go there. Another one of the words is restlessness under constraint. So we just need to really understand the reason for restlessness. Freedom is needed. If you are controlled, if you are a grown ass person and people telling you what to do, where to go and where to be, this could be very subtle within our relationships, on the job, you know, that shit not really riding when you're dealing with your spiritual energy and raising your Kundalini, because when you're raising your Kundalini, you're raising up something very different. So this normal conversation that people having on the internet, in your family, within your relationship, at your jobs, it's just not cutting, because within you feel energy rising up. And now that you feel energy rising up, there brings a feeling that's called mixed feelings, okay? And this is trying Uranus, because Uranus in Aries is destructive. It wants to destroy, and it's an intuitive destruction at this point, because if I'm gonna start something with my awakened knowledge, then everything that I've been through thus far, you gotta be real arrogant and real narcissistic to think that everything you doing is right and exact. Okay, if you're not questioning what you're doing, if you're not questioning shit, asking real questions, you can ask real questions and see if you can get real answers back. But if you're not getting those real answers back, you know what to do. But if you're not asking those questions, then you're trying to move forward in mixed feelings. And mixed feelings is a result of intuition. Intuition saying hell no. But that other person on the outside of you, gaming you, speaking against your intuition. Your intuition saying no, your intuition saying yes, and then the people outside of you saying, well, no, you shouldn't do this. Or, yeah, you should do this. But somewhere along the line, if it's not matching up with your intuitive game plan, then you know it's not right. So there brings us into the space of doubt everything. Doubt everything. This is an ancient proverb. De omnis dubitandum est. It's Latin for everything must be doubted. Okay? Everything must be doubted. Why is that? Because faith and giving people the benefit of the doubt is why you be getting in so much trouble in the first place. You know, even the doubt that you have, there is no benefit surrounding that doubt. It's only the benefits that you're giving it to survive and to move forward. But that doubt is there for you to rise out of that negative situation. Have you ever been in a church or in a religious space and you have a doubt of the situation, and then you rise out of that situation, do your research, and then you're like, damn, I'm so happy I'm not in that relationship. Or I said relationship, or in that church, but even doubt within your relationship. Doubt allows you to escape those things where faith and hope and joy just have you looking stupid and looking like a crash dummy because you're being taken advantage of. And see, that's what spirit does not like. Spirit doesn't like when you getting taken advantage of, and that's why Kali Ma is so fierce, and that's why this energy is so real. That's why you might feel blocks, straight up blocks, you know, straight up blocks, because it's requiring you to get back into darkness, get back into your sleep, get back into your esoterics, get back into your personal spiritual development. Okay, raising the Kundalini, restoring your soul, seeing beyond the physical limitations, seeing beyond the waking life. Go. And so let's go. Venus in the 13th degree of Capricorn, the Sabian symbol. I don't necessarily know if it's on here, but it's somewhere else. So they have a very old wrinkled brown paper sack, but then give me 1 second. Not even a second, a half a second. I'll be quick with this. So where we going to Capricorn, 13 degree mark. And this is where Venus is at. And so we just want to look at the Sabian symbol. I have it on the link sheet, but just to show the people, because everybody don't like to utilize the link sheet because everybody know everything. So right here, a fire worshiper meditates on the ultimate realities of existence. So in doing these astrology things, I'll have a larger theme. And the reason why I'll have a larger theme is because somehow, some way, the astrology and the narration and the calculations, they lead to a specific sum of total of things. So everything that I'm talking about is the simply raising of the Kundalini. Now, this is spiritual channel after spiritual channel. I done got like 4 or 5 pages on this type of stuff. But this is just more of a confirmation from my previous studies leading up to this to say, oh, this is what needs to be spoken to. This is what needs to be brought light to. The energy of Kundalini and the power and the necessity. Hey, who's upstairs? Is anybody upstairs? John, you upstairs by yourself, bro. Give me 1 second, family. Sorry. We live. So we back to the fire worshiper that meditates on the ultimate realities of existence. So we could go on and on and on. The occultist, the yogi, the mystic, and magic, and all of this stuff that people talk about as far as esoterics and things of that nature. Law of attraction, magic, alchemy, just throw a thing out there. It don't mean shit if you haven't raised up your Kundalini, okay? If you haven't balanced out your chakras and meditated and raised that energy from the base of your spine up your cerebrospinal column, because it's like a vortex of energy, okay? If we are trained at adolescence to send our energy down and out, then we are doing ourselves a horrible misfortune. And this is why Kundalini is so hard for us to grasp, because at that adolescence, we are supposed to be taught that energy that is seeping out of you, men and women, for men it's sperm, for women it's the ambrosia. It's seeping out of you, but there is techniques, there is things that you can teach a young person to, hey, utilize that energy in a positive way, young man. Utilize that energy in a positive way, young woman. Bring that energy up through your bones and, raise it to your brains. Don't think about boys all the time. Like, I know we've been taught not to have sex and not to do that, but it was more like, we don't want you to get pregnant. But the other side of the game is that it can unleash your imagination. So if you have children, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Start telling them about Kundalini. And shit, you with your 35, 36-year-old ass need to start studying some Kundalini, because it is getting your energy out of a vortex of down and out, and it's allowing your energy to move up and in. And once it moves up and in, a lot of wonderful things happen. So hopefully that resonates with you. But Venus is square Uranus, so the same thing about doubt everything, the same thing about what I'm saying. It's like, you can doubt what I'm saying. That's why I'm showing the link sheet, so maybe you could do your own investigations and your own research in Kundalini and things like that. But the larger doubting is your previous experience before you start to do the Kundalini exercises, do the Kundalini work. Because Kali Ma, she's literally got a whole head in her hand, and that's symbolic for the ignorance of the ego. Okay, so she's cutting off your ignorance, she's cutting away your ego, and she's rising, you know, through the body, and she's very fierce because a lot of the ignorance, a lot of the ego does not exist in the spiritual realm. You are so much more and so much deeper, but there's so many limitations. There's so much uncertainty to our ego that is a block to our spiritual. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, I ain't never did this. When I was 12, this happened. When I was 8, that happened. And you know how it happened when that happened. And I want. Sad, sad, sad. So beyond that, there is another level beyond that. Like if you have the saddest story in the whole entire world, you have this vital energy that's more than likely going down and out. But if you were to reinsert it and spin it around and have it going up and in, that sad story would be a story of victory. Okay. And so Mars is at the 1st degree of Scorpio. And so the Sabian symbol for that is a very interesting one. A tunnel through a mountain. So if we could just use our mental imagery, our imagination, and imagine a tunnel through a mountain and what's being said about our Mars quotient in Scorpio. It's saying that we're going through a journey. We're not going to be able to see left from right, but if we keep going, we'll reach the end of this tunnel. We can't go up. We can't, you know, we can turn around, you know, we can turn around and go back to where we were at. But ultimately, if we are at the beginning of a tunnel and our action principle is Mars going up into Scorpio, then that is a tunnel through a mountain. So once we're done with this, we'll be in another place. We'll see another life. We'll see another thing. And this is important to understanding the energy of the 2020. Because as Mars is going through Scorpio, as everything is going through Sagittarius, there is a real change in your experience. So an indication would be if you're experiencing dark times, if you're experiencing trouble, if you're experiencing issues, great, because you're probably in the middle of the tunnel right now. So don't turn around, don't quit, don't panic, don't go crazy. Just keep going, because you know the cliche of all cliches, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but it requires your action dealing with Mars to get through it. And so we can just look at Mars on an astrological map so we don't get lost of what we're talking about. And even I guess even a sidereal map is kind of confusing, because since Virgo is so big, Libra takes up a little chunk of the Scorpio space, and Ophiuchus takes up a little of the Scorpio space. So Scorpio is rather large, but not to be confusing, sidereal and Vedic are different, but in understanding the Sabian symbols, you utilize the Vedic system because there is no Sabian symbols for sidereal. So we could just pinpoint what each place is talking about to come up with an understanding. What is you doing, John? You going upstairs or you staying with me? I knows it. I know you're gonna stay with Dad. I know. Dad always talking. Dad don't always be talking though. I'm just talking now. It's probably surprising, like, Dad, you don't never talk. And then you get in front of this computer and then you just start talking. What's going on? And so the final aspect that we're going to talk about is Mars trine Pluto in this Capricorn and Sagittarius. So if we're going, the reason why, so it's a trine, right? It's a natural inclination. It's a very comforting, natural tuning within. And so this darkness is a different type of darkness if it's trine Pluto and Capricorn and Sagittarius. Like I said, it's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just not darkness for the sake of darkness. It's just not pain for the sake of pain. It's just not loneliness for the sake of loneliness. It is actually something that is teaching you. And hopefully you can say, when I make it through this, I know how to handle myself for real. And this is just for the people that are struggling. If everything is going great for you, then, you know, great, you know what I'm saying? Keep it up, you know. But if you are going through something difficult, if you are going through a trying time, it's really fluky, and like, you know, things just happen and that's gonna block you from going where you want to go. Not having enough resources to buy your kids gifts and things of that nature. Let that shit go, you know, because I can go on and on and on how Christmas ain't nothing about giving gifts. It's more about slavery and the reintroduction of slavery every year, or the rebirth of slavery every year, in a symbolic form. So, you know, let things go. If you ain't got it, it must be a reason for the reason that you ain't got it. And if things are like going good, and I know you don't want to jeopardize anything, I know you don't want to question it, but ask questions that you have regarding your intuition, because if you ignore your intuition, then you will be lining up for something that you might greatly regret and greatly resent yourself for not listening to your intuition. And that's the worst thing. So have those conversations, say those things that needs to be said, and move on. Another level of this, Mars and Scorpio. Get a little John together. Another level of this is energy vampires. And you can tell who's an energy vampire if you're actively giving energy, if you're actively showing love, and you ain't getting nothing in return. That shit dead. You know what you're giving, and you know what you're getting in return. You don't gotta cause a big scene. You don't gotta start an argument or nothing like that. You just need to stop giving your energy to other people and give it to yourself. Raise your energy up, okay? Because energy vampires are harmless. Their only harm is the energy that's ours that we give to them, right? And they use our energy against us. So in order to stop energy vampires effectively, is stop giving them energy, give it to you. Raise your Kundalini, see the light from the darkness. Understand that you might be in a dark space, but it's not over. Last piece, brother. Now I don't know what you're gonna do after that. So, trying to not be super long or drawn out, I just want to really touch on these points, and I hope this message resonates with you so we can kind of prepare for this new moon. So within the link sheet is other people's websites and other people talking about this thing, because it's not just me. Astrology is not just me. It's a real science that exists within the world, and either you understand it or you don't. Reading stuff online and not factoring in the astronomy, you don't really understand astrology, because astronomy is the measurements, astrology is the study. So how could I study anything without the measurements? You got to get the rudimentary stuff out the way. So that's why I'm leaving these links, so you can look at the rudimentary factors to see how I came to this conclusion. And then we can have these conversations together. Hopefully, you know, a year from now of sharing these link sheets, you know, people will begin to start doing the same thing I'm doing, and create different conversations that don't have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but utilizing the same energy, so we can have think pieces and really understand what's happening in astrology in a collective sense. So just want to speak all about the Mula Nakshatra. So the Mula Nakshatra is the root, or the deep desire to shed what's real from the unreal, okay? As an influence that amplifies human action for better or for worse. So as an influence that amplifies human action for better or for worse. So it's stuff going on. It's things happening. But you might be so faithful and so sure of shit, and a year from now you going to reflect like, damn, I was that stupid? No way I could be that stupid. It's because your faith, you believing in what people saying and not in the actions. The actions are clear. You know, this is messed up or this is great, but it's no like the words is throwing you off. So eclipses are inwardly transformative periods ideal for intensified spiritual practices. So this is why we talk about raising the Kundalini. This is why we talk about deep meditation. This is why, you know, people give, you know, because this is a different type of energy. You know, the moon is in a debilitated space. It's deep in the deep recesses and rising up. And this is what's called Saturnalia. And so this is the time. This is the time for role reversals. So if things are bad, it's because they're supposed to be bad. If it's a role reversal, okay? If it's a role reversal, then I don't expect things to be good. If you tell me this energy is about role reversal, I just put on my healthy coat, you know, and bear through it. You know, a lot of people didn't grow up having great Christmases every year. In fact, a lot of us have year after year had shitty Christmases, and then, you know, trying to deal with that trauma, right? The trauma that we've accepted. Peace. We back. But this is an eclipse. So we talk about this a lot. You know, eclipses are new moons. New moons are times to set intentions. Solar eclipses are new moons times 10. So if you don't have your intentions in order for the solar eclipse, then forget about it. You know, just forget about it. You doing the resolutions and the new moon this and the new moon that. But every year, this is an annular solar eclipse. So every year in January, December, we have a solar eclipse. Every single year. And this is where they get the whole idea from resolutions from. But it's not on January 1st every year. It's sometimes the 26th. Last year was like January 17th or January 5th or something like that. But around this time, there is a solar eclipse. So this is where the concept of New Year's resolutions come from. So when you talk about spiritual energy and spiritual action, if you're struggling right now, it's because you lack that. You lack the most intense and profound of the stars. You lack the root of your experience. And what is the root of your experience? The root of your experience is sperm and ambrosia. Okay? Without those two things, you wouldn't have came into existence. Guys, you deal with your sperm in a mature way. You don't waste it, because when you, it's like a vortex. It's like a whirlpool spinning, you know, downwards. And there's no way you can go. That loving be so good. You just want to, you know, express yourself in the most loving way. But Kundalini is saying, no, stop that shit. Stop it. Bring it back up. Oh, it's so fun when you're squirting all over the place. But think about it. You wasting that energy out into the ethers. And it feels so good. But what if that energy, what if that liquid was better suited being sent up your spine through meditation and raising your Kundalini? Okay, what if? Now, Kundalini, I've been saying it, but I don't know if I came to the conclusion what came first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know, but everything that I'm speaking of is in reference, not even like, I just want to talk about Kundalini, and I wanted to talk about Kundalini without the astrology, if you understand, because that was what my study has been in this week. I woke up like Saturday after, you know, the videos that I did previous week, and like, all right, what's next? You know, did some meditating, and everything was like Kundalini. So I cracked open my Kundalini book, started taking notes, and lo and behold, we got a solar eclipse on the Moolah Chakra, which means the root, which are symbolized by a bunch of bound roots. And this is just a simple metaphor for the bound up energy in the base of your spine. Okay. I'm working on a book. So that's all I can really say. Like, I have to explain this shit point by point, level by level, because last year around this time, we deep dived the chakras. We did the 777 chakra workshop. The reason why we did the chakra workshop was to raise our Kundalini. And we started that joint, me and my wife, we started that joint and we finished that joint. We did day after day, talk after talk, video after video about raising our Kundalini and doing the chakra work. And around this time, my channel had 100 subscribers. Okay, about 100 subscribers. I was talking to myself. A couple of y'all was there, but most of y'all wasn't there. Okay, y'all came after that. Okay, because once I raised up my Kundalini, my conversation got a little bit different. My mind got a little bit sharper. I got a little bit more advanced on what I was doing, and I could reach a little bit more people once I cleared out all of the bullshit. Okay. It's so much that I could talk about, but I'm just trying to keep it short and keep it sweet, okay? Dre Wise over at Love Live Life, she got a shirt that says, feeling good is the work. So the work is to get your ass to feel good if you don't feel good, okay? You got to get from point A to point B. You got to see the mountain and see the tunnel and say, okay, that's where I need to get to. Because this shit that I see around here, I done been there, done that, but I see this tunnel, I see this hole, I need to hit that with authority. And it might be dark in there, it might be scary in there, I might not even make it out. But I done seen all of this shit around me though. I done been here, there, people done traveled the goddamn world and then be back at the crib like, now what, okay? Utilize your sexual energy correctly, okay? Utilize it correctly and it won't forsake you. Why am I saying utilize your sexual energy correctly though? Like, what does that even mean? I got a 14-month-old baby. He don't cry when he hungry. Bruh goes in the kitchen, gets a knife, gets the bread, gets the peanut butter, and brings it to you and lets you know, hey, this is what I'm on right now. I ain't gotta cry. I ain't never seen nothing in this life. That little boy was created from me and my wife making love, okay? That was our reproductive system operating at a way that we had no conscious knowledge of. We could just sit there and just pray and hope for the best outcome, okay? That same energy that was used to create my son could be redirected within my body, and I could create something much different and much more profound. I'm done creating babies, okay? I'm done creating babies. Now it's time to create life within myself. Now it's time for a rebirth of myself. And I don't think I'm done creating babies. Let me take that back. For now, in this moment, done creating babies. The future will create more babies because babies are cool. That's all I can say. Babies are pretty cool. Babies are pretty awesome. So yeah, man, we're just dealing with this solar eclipse, and I'm hoping that this message is resonating and it's clear enough for you that you do not leave this conversation confused, and you know what to do with your energy, what to look into, what to get some research on. Kundalini. I got a book by Gopi Krishna called The Awakening of Kundalini, and Kundalini. But the card of the week is the 8 of Wands. Now, what's going on, brother? You ate everything, bro. You ate in it all. There's nothing more. You want to come sit up here with me? Are you, what's the deal? Okay. So the Eight of Wands, ruled by Mercury, is the card of the first decan of Sagittarius. Mercury rules that decan, but also Jupiter rules that whole constellation of Sagittarius. So the new moon being in Sagittarius in the first decan, that card is represented by swiftness. Now, that's the Eight of Wands, but the interesting thing about this card is that there is no wands on this card, and it's the only card in the Thoth Tarot deck to not have actual wands. If you look up the Seven of Wands, Six of Wands, Nine of Wands, Two of Wands, you will see actual wands, but this is showing you light wands turned into electrical rays. And so this is representing that electrical magnetic force that is like fast, you know, super fast, super easy. If you look at the title of this card, it's called Swiftness. Okay, law of attraction. Things are moving, things are, you know, moving really fast. And so this is the reason why you want to do the Kundalini. This is why you want to rid yourself of all of the bullshit, all of the people, because the energy vampires, the jobs, the this, the that, the third, they slowing up your energy. They holding up your energy. You know, you got a vortex and send your energy down and out. It's much more potent if it's going out, up and in. You know, it's moving more faster as it's going up and in, or a variety of different types of ways. Sending energy here, sending energy there. Okay, so we're dealing with a spiritual insight and manifesting based upon that spiritual insight. So spiritual insight is to be able to spiritually look within. And if you got everything going on around you, this, that, and the third going on around you, then how in the hell is what you manifesting is confusion. What you manifesting is being lost. Okay, because that's what you are. Okay, Kundalini allows you for not to be lost. It allows you to clear that energy up. It allows you to operate from a level where it's no longer ignorance. And you could go to all the classes, you can do all of the things. You can study all of the study, listen to all of the YouTube videos, but what about your sexual energy? Okay, is your sexual energy in alignment? And I'm not the sexual energy police. Okay, but I know that if your sexual energy ain't right, then you ain't right, because your sexual energy is the foundation. It is the building blocks for your whole entire life. It's the building blocks for your family, your children, right? It actually creates your children. So this is a very powerful, potent energy. The Milky Way is where all of our souls reside. That is the true heaven. Okay, so this new moon being around this area, there is a lot of spiritual channels that's taking place, but you got to be clear enough to receive those channels. You want something to happen in spite of your ignorance, and I don't necessarily know if it work like that. It can possibly work like that, but to get to where I'm at, and I don't think that I'm far wherever I'm at, it took me hella years, hella miles, hella time, hella effort, hella lonely times of cutting people off and really figuring this shit out on an internal level. Understanding the meditation and the dragon breaths and things of that nature. So meditation is not thinking. Don't overthink shit. Okay, DOTS, dots. Don't overthink shit. Let it go. If it's bothering you, let it go. Do the dragon breath meditations. You know, raise that internal fire. Be prepared to let things go. Another thing, communicate clearly. See, communicating from the fifth chakra and the third chakra, the third and fifth chakra, and communicating from that point, you create your reality. It's like communication could be, you know, maybe later, you know, can hook up a little later, you know what I'm saying? I was just hoping, you know, maybe, you know, that just turned a girl off. You like, About to come over there later, you know, lay it down. That's a different vibration. You be like, okay, I'll leave the door open. Just come on in, you know, because you manifesting from a deep, that put some bass in your voice, you know, especially when you manifesting, clearly communicating, and allowing things to manifest exactly how it needs to manifest. But ultimately, we taking all of this matter, we taking all of this whole entire world, this whole entire matrix, and we're spiritualizing it. This is what they call Saturnalia. This is what they call the winter solstice, where the sun drops below the ecliptic, and it's the darkest days is what they call it. But let's remember that darkness is your friend. We all came from darkness, okay? Darkness is nothing to be afraid of, okay? From the darkness, we will see light. Hit y'all with major cliches today, but you know, hopefully they resonated. You have removed my beloved and my friend. Darkness is my closest companion. Because you've seen and you've known and you've lived, and now it's time for the rebirth. And that rebirth is not nothing external. So if you're looking on the outside thinking that this person, this job, this situation's gonna save you, you missing out, because a lot of people ain't even real people. A lot of people clones, robots, and vampires, and you linking up with them and you setting yourself up for failure. Your faith is to be restored from within. Your life is to be restored from within. You are a God. Can't no job, no relationship, no situation hold you. And if life haven't told you that by now, then let it continue to keep showing you. Maybe you got a little bit more to learn. But yeah, I just really wanted to share that so I can continue my research in other areas. I appreciate everybody for sticking with me through, you know, this live and through this whole entire year. It's been a great year at hoodmystic.com. Put out 2 books, working on a course, working on a 3rd book, and just thinking about my future and how wonderful it's gonna be. And so the present, whether it's difficult or easy, is irrelevant, because I know I got hella work to do. So that's more or less where my mind is at. But, you know, please feel free to help me out. Join the Cash App, PayPal, Patreon, all of those things, because, you know, this is my full-time job, believe it or not. You know, doing this work and helping people and speaking to this spirituality, it's not profitable, and it's not, you know, I have to supplement my income in various types of ways, but any type of supplementation that I do, it still allows me to do this work full time. So I just want to really take some time out to say thank you guys for even listening, to even giving me an ear. People give me feedback. They say, you know, it resonates with them. They can apply this information. It helps them. And that's really all I ever wanted to hear. You know, I'm sharing this information through channel. And so it's never really about me. It's really about me trusting in my channel and speaking through that channel and studying that channel and understanding why this channel is coming. And being able to articulate it is something that I'm most grateful for. And I'm also grateful for everybody that supports this channel. So, you know, please check me out at www.hoodmystic.com, either through donations, buy a book, join the Patreon for monthly readings. Greatly appreciate it. And 2020 is going to be a crazy year for this channel, for everybody involved, because this spiritual energy is about to get raised. One of the tenets is going to be camp, and that's KAMP, and that's Kundalini, alchemy, magic, and power. And that's coming real soon. So, you know, stay camped out with your boy as we bring this esoteric knowledge. So, you know, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys on the next video, which will probably be tomorrow. And we discuss all things Watchmen. So Watchmen and Wu-Tang do a real big. But thank you guys for paying attention and sticking with me. If you have any questions or if you guys want to build on this at all, please email me at hoodmystic@gmail.com. Once again, www.hoodmystic.com.